Good day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This very first info session for the 2023 Sasol New Signatures Art Competition. My name is Pfunzo Sidogi, one of the team members from the art competition. And I have alongside me Cate Terblanche, who is from the Sasol Art Collection, a key stakeholder of the competition as well. And we will be taking you through some of the important information that you need to know leading up to the D-Day, the submission date for the 2023 version of this important landmark event in our artistic calendar. And we invite you to really engage with us during these sessions, and we hope to give you as much information as possible that will answer some of the queries and concerns that we've received from entrants in the previous years. So welcome, Cate.
Thanks, Pfunzo. Lovely to be with you, and welcome everyone. We are so happy to have launched the competition for this year again. And there are only a couple of weeks left over before submissions, so everybody should be just about ready to get their artworks in and everything. So it's a very exciting time for us, and it's wonderful that we've actually got this platform to share a little bit of our insights, with everyone, just to give a little bit of info about how to really think about the competition, the works, and so forth. And
right.
I think one of the first things that always comes up is, so this is a visual arts competition, and one of the questions that always comes up is the whole idea of a theme. So maybe you can chat to us about the issue of a theme.
Yes, so and that's a good place to start, Cate, because these are the questions that we receive year in year out, and these are really valid questions. So does the competition have a theme? And the answer is an emphatic no. It doesn't have a theme, and it has never had a theme. What we've had in previous years is what we call communication campaigns, which are designed to really communicate what the competition stands for, or the essence of the competition, or what the competition embodies. So, for example, this year we've chosen the whole notion of expressions unbound as the moniker for the 2023 competition, or the tagline for the 2023 competition. And that is not a theme. That is just simply a phrase that demonstrates what we as a competition stand for. And that is, we provide a platform for you as artists to submit work that is not limited in any shape or form, for you to truly express yourself in that manner of being unbounded, right, without any boundaries. So that's the communications campaign and not the theme of the competition. So we just need to clarify that. And if the competition has no theme, that means as artists, you can submit work that talks about anything, any narrative, any story, any concept. That is totally up to you. We do not have any limitations or restrictions to that end.
That's so exciting, actually, because it means that whatever body of work you've been working on, you can actually draw maybe the best works from that and submit it, which is wonderful. Yes.
Exactly.
I think one of the other things about the competition that really excites me is the idea that this is actually really a competition for emerging artists. And I think if artists actually understand that term, they will actually be able to understand the purpose of the competition, but also they will be able to focus the works that they're going to submit very specifically. So maybe you can chat to us a little bit about that term, and also, maybe give us a little bit of an explanation on, like who can enter, because I think those two concepts really go hand
are
in hand.
interlinked. Exactly. So let's start with the latter of who can enter. So we do have some parameters in terms of who can enter, and they are spelled out in the entry form. And we actually we will dedicate a whole session to discussing the entry form and the conditions that are set in the entry form. But at a very basic level, you have to be over the age of 18, so 18 and over. You have to be a South African citizen or at least have permanent residency status in the country. You must have not had a solo exhibition before. And this is really linked to this point of emerging artists. What do we mean by emerging artists? And basically, outside of that, anyone can enter. We do not have any age limitations. Kate, you would know that in previous years, we've had new signatures who are elderly in age, in their 50s or 60s. But have nevertheless submitted work to the competition. So yes, we don't have that restriction. But we are strict on this notion of emerging. And
yes.
So let's spend a little bit of time just unpacking what do we mean in the context of our competition when we say emerging. So first and foremost, if you've had a solo exhibition before, where it was only your work on display at a reputable gallery or a professional gallery space, and there was no other person part of your exhibition, we do not consider you to be an emerging artist. So we do not want any artist that has had a solo exhibition before, because our understanding is that the moment you have a solo exhibition, you've really entered the frame of being a professional artist, or at least you are starting your journey to becoming a professional artist. The other consideration that we have is that if you have had an exhibition that was linked to your studies, that is fine. We actually will still enable you or allow you to enter the competition, because we do understand that at some universities, as part of your MA studies or your honors degree studies, you're expected to put together a body of work that is exhibited at a gallery as part and parcel of your outcomes for that degree. So if you've had that, that is fine. You can still enter for this competition. In fact, you can even use one of those artworks from that body of work and submit it to the competition. The other provision that we have is that if you have professional gallery representation, which is to say, if you have a gallery that you have signed to that helps you to sell your work or to provide a platform for you where your work can be sold, or you are working with a professional art dealer, then you are not, unfortunately, eligible to be part of this competition, because we consider you, again, to be a professional artist who is already selling their work in platforms that will expose you to a kind of a professional art market. So please note that if you have had a solo exhibition, if you have gallery representation or an agent, a professional agent that that you are signed to and who helps you to sell your works, then you cannot enter for this competition. A final provision that we have added for this year is that if you are permanently employed or full-time employed by a university or institution of higher learning within the fields of art and design, unfortunately, you cannot enter the competition, because we feel that the moment a university bestows this privilege or this honor of appointing you permanently, they consider you to be a professional. They consider you to really be one of the leaders in that whatever field or discipline you are a specialist in. So it would be then unfair to pit you against artists that are still really trying to find their way in the industry or break through. So those are when we say emerging artists, that's what we really mean.
Yeah. So I think that clarifies quite a lot, actually. You know, it really actually would help the artist to understand why we put certain kinds of requirements into the entry form and so forth, you know. Because that's really what we're focusing on, is we are wanting to give emerging artists, people who want to really take their artistic career to the next level, the opportunity to do that. So I think that's very important, yeah. Pfunzo, so I think then the next question that's always asked is like, what type of work can we enter? So maybe you can chat to us a little bit about that.
That's right. So you mentioned something very important during your opening, where you said this is a visual arts competition. So what that means is, unfortunately, we cannot accept entries from other disciplines within the creative industries like music, the performing arts, drama, theatre. In as much as we are fully supportive of all forms of creativity, but as a competition, we are squarely focused on the visual arts. Of course, we do understand that within the visual arts, there is the possibility that artists can utilize aspects from the performing arts or characteristics from the performing arts. And we do have a whole category within the visual arts called performance art, where artists utilize sound, performance, installation type works. That is fine. We will consider that, but it has to be presented or framed within the context of a visual artwork. So please, we will not be accepting any music videos. Unfortunately, previously we have received some of those, and some of them are really compelling and really interesting. But this is not the platform for that type of creativity. But outside of that, really, any form of creativity that passes off as a visual artwork can definitely be submitted into the competition. Later on, we will be discussing in other info sessions, we will be discussing the types of artworks and the restrictions that we have in terms of size and weight and so on, but we will get to those specifics in other info sessions.
Yeah, so I think that's also important to know, but as you said, we're going to be looking at that in a different info session, so stay tuned. Then, so the process. So what would someone, young artist, old artist, emerging artist, wants to enter the competition, where would they start?
Very good question. Yeah. So the first place that they need to go is our website, the Sasol New Signatures website. You can just go into Google and search for, or any search engine, search for Sasol New Signatures, and the sasolsignatures.co.za website will come up, and there all the information that you need to know about the competition will come up. There's the entry form, which we will discuss in later videos, but that's the first thing that they need to download. And there as well, we have a blog, fantastic blog, where we have articles from previous winners and previous judges that really give tips and advice on what makes a winning work. And again, we will dedicate a whole info session to just discussing that, what makes a winning work. We'll give our best advice, right? We cannot really predict what makes a winning work. So that's the first port of entry. Then the next thing that the entrant will have to do is locate their closest submission point. So we do have various entry points or submission points around the country. Unfortunately, your artworks cannot be submitted digitally. The only submission that will allow digitally is for performance work, and we discussed that in another session. We'll discuss that in another session in terms of conditions of entry. So you will have to locate your closest entry point. Unfortunately, we don't have entry points in all of the provinces, but we have them in most of the provinces. So find the one that's closest to you. And then make sure that you are aware of the submission dates, the deadline dates, and then you plan towards that deadline date. And we actually see this as part and parcel of the whole process of you becoming a professional artist, that you have a deadline, target date, make sure that your artwork is ready. Not on the day. We have situations where artists try and get their works ready or finished on the day. At least a week before, make sure your artwork is ready, packaged to be sent to the entry point. And make sure you arrive early at that entry point, because we do not want you missing out on having your artwork looked at, because the entry points open at about 10 in the morning, and at about 4 they're closing their doors. So please make sure you arrive there early. And that's it. That's all that they have to do to submit work to this competition.
Yeah, I think it's quite important that we just emphasize, because we have seen this happen actually in previous competitions where artists bring works and the painting's still wet.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
Please,
yeah.
please make sure that your work is finished and finalized before you bring it.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so a relatively easy, straightforward process. I think the most important thing is really actually just to be aware that there are some restrictions in terms of the sizes and how much you can, how many works you can enter and so forth. We will be dealing with all those points in a different info session. So I think the last thing that's also a question that often comes up is in terms of costs. How much does it cost to enter? So
That's
maybe
right.
you can chat about that.
Yeah, very good question. Indeed, as we draw to a conclusion, we obviously understand that we operate in a space where other art competitions have to charge a fee to entrants who want to participate in the competition. And I should note that they do not charge that fee because they want to make profit and millions out of the entrance. It's actually because they want to remain viable and ensure that they provide that important service or platform to artists. But because of the amazing support that this competition receives from Sasol, who is the title sponsor, and also the logistical partners in the competition, who are Stratford Van Lines and the Pretoria Art Museum here in the city of Tshwane, where the final exhibition will be held. Because of the amazing generosity and support that we receive from them, the competition is completely free to enter. So that means you, as a potential entrant, all you need to worry about are the expenses for the production of the work. Just make sure that you dedicate a little bit of a budget towards buying whatever materials you might need in order for your artwork to become a reality. But in terms of entering the competition, absolutely free. You will, of course, have to incur a little bit of printing costs, because you'll have to go online and print out the entry form. The entry form is available at the submission points, but if you're not close to that submission point, you don't have to stress about driving there. Just go online and print out the entry form, read all of those conditions of entry. We will be, as I said, dedicating an info session to that specifically. But once you've done that, you are ready to go in terms of being eligible to enter the competition. And again, I must reiterate, as long as you're a South African citizen or have permanent residency status, over the age of 18, have not held a solo exhibition before, except for academic purposes, are not represented by a gallery or an agent, and you are not permanently employed as a lecturer in art or design disciplines, you can enter this competition. It is for you. And as Cate mentioned, it's really an opportunity for you to take your artistic journey to the next level. So we are specifically looking for you guys who are maybe hesitant and not sure whether you should be doing this. This is precisely the platform for you.
It's such an amazing journey to be on, and it's been such a privilege to actually be part of this competition for a number of years now for me. And I've seen so many of the artists that have actually had their works in the final exhibition, some of the winners and everything, how their careers have just blossomed, and it's just been so fabulous. So I'm really looking forward to this year. And yeah, I think please join us for the next info sessions. We're hoping to share quite a lot of info. We realize that the amount of tips and information that we want to share is really far too much to go into one small little video. So that's why we've decided to go with the info session. So please join us for these. And if you have any questions, specific questions and things, please pop them in the chat box. We'll try and, if we can, actually maybe answer them in these sessions, or we might be able to answer them in the chats. But yeah, please engage with us, and we'd love to see you, and we'd love to see your art.
That's right. Definitely. That's what it's all about. We're looking forward to seeing those submissions. Yeah. Thank you so much, Cate. This has been awesome, and I'm looking forward to further discussions. And have a good one. Thank you so guys for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.